Me rascal baby mother want double the child support now. She out here gunning me down. Rasta monkey! Boom back clot. She done sniff me out. May I come for you? I can't survive the devil one woman. I feel my soul leaving my dreadlocks.
It's clear that he's absolutely terrified of child support. The best part was when he said he could feel his soul leaving his dreadlocks. That really says it all. This is serious business. Even his dreadlocks have lost their soul because of child support.
What kind of work were you doing when you were ordered to pay that the $2,300 a month?
I was a U.S. Border Patrol agent with Customs and Border Protection.
And have there been any changes in your job since the time of that previous order?
Yes, sir. I retired at the end of December.
What are you making now that you are retired?
My monthly income will be, $4,459.
How long had you been with the Border Patrol prior to retirement?
20 years.
So that's considered a voluntary retirement?
It is, sir, yes.
Is it true currently you pay $2,300 a month?
That is correct, yes.
And is it true the amount that was calculated as about $1,100?
Yes.
That's a little bit more than a 50% reduction.
It is a reduction, yes, sir.
How old are your daughters?
They are 17 and 14.
Reducing the amount of child support you pay, I guess does it make logical sense that more costs are going to be passed on to Tara?
Both I and Tara will have to make adjustments with the decrease in my salary, yes.
But you understand you've decreased the resources available to your children as well by retiring early.
I realize that a decrease in salary affects everyone involved, yes, sir.
Previously, Mr. Edwards has been paying $2,300 a month, correct?
Yes, sir.
So the proposed reduction to $1,100 and maybe a couple dollars, do you think you'll be able to maintain the children's needs with that amount?
Their basic need, possibly. It would be a very big burden on myself. I'm a school teacher and I make very much less per year than he is capable of.
The next point her lawyer will make is going to be a huge mistake, as it will allow her ex-husband to defend himself in a way that makes it clear to everyone in the room that he did everything he could as a parent. Her lawyer's goal was to make him look like a bad father in front of the judge, but it completely backfired, as he was able to turn the tables.
Mr. Edwards, is he exercising much visitation with the children?
No, sir. He has not seen the oldest daughter since July of 2021, but he doesn't come here. He's only been here once in the last 12 years.
Is there any other reason that you're aware of why the court should deviate from the guideline child support amount?
I feel like doing this to them after their entire lives, having a lifestyle that met the lifestyle we had when we were married, would be detrimental to them in their future.
Ms. Langley, speaking to the visitation, when we were initially divorced, how far apart did we live?
We lived 200 miles.
Okay, so a weekend visitation, etc., was possible. And what changed that visitation schedule?
I moved.
Okay, and how far away from me did you move at that time?
800 miles.
800 miles. So at that point, was visitation more difficult?
It was.
Has Kieran been given the option to visit me in the last 2 years that you said I have not seen her?
Judge, I'm going to object to the relevance.
You brought this up, Mr. Elrod. He gets to ask questions to defend himself.
I have no idea. I don't know if you've given her the option or not.
Those were good questions, Mr. Ed.
Thank you, sir. I
Especially about the
appreciate it.
visitation. Child support's going to be adjusted at $1,500 a month.
Their basic needs, that's what child support is, for the child. What do the kids do that costs $2,300 a month? The system isn't calculating properly. Ask the mom, she's pocketing the cash. That lawyer tried his shot with objection. He's cocky lawyer. Shouldn't have mentioned to father when he retired. He have the right to retire from Border Patrol for 20 years. Dude, you would have made a good lawyer. They are not married anymore. Move on. That was a fair and reasonable judgment. He shouldn't be expected to cancel his retirement just because his ex-wife doesn't want to adjust her lifestyle. Their lives are no longer attached as she thinks, no matter how much she may believe it. At this point, his only responsibility is to meet the actual needs of his children, not to support her household or maintain her standard of living. What happens in her home is her responsibility, and that includes financial matters, which should be handled by her and her new partner.
I feel like doing this to them after their entire lives, having a lifestyle that met the lifestyle we had when we were married, would be detrimental to them in their future.
I'm not sure what she was trying to argue, But that is not the purpose of child support. It's not designed to ensure she maintains the same standard of living. It seems she still hasn't accepted that he is no longer responsible for her lifestyle, but with time, she'll come to that realization. What makes this situation even more interesting is that she doesn't want him to rest. She expects him to continue working because his retirement would impact her way of living, and that makes no sense. She's actually expecting the judge to tell someone who has already planned his life to cancel his retirement, just so she can keep receiving the same amount of support and avoid downgrading her lifestyle. Instead of creating a narrative that this reduction will negatively affect their children's future, she should be honest about why she wants the money. Unfortunately, some see it as a paycheck. It becomes less about what the child truly needs and more about maintaining personal comfort. That's where it starts to become unfair, especially in a case like this, where she's asking the court to force him back to work solely so she can continue receiving the same financial support.
Seen her.
Judge, I'm going to object to the relevance. The
Oh,
point
no,
of-
you brought this up, Mr. Elrod. He gets to ask questions to defend
Okay.
himself.
The judge is absolutely right. They were the ones who started this, and now they must at least allow him the chance to respond. Their goal was to paint him as a neglectful father who didn't even care to visit his children. But the moment he tried to explain what actually happened, her lawyer attempted to shut it down. By then, it was already too late. He should be given the opportunity to explain exactly why he wasn't able to visit his children as frequently as he used to. And that explanation clearly influenced the judge's final verdict. As we can see, the mother didn't make much effort to maintain the children's relationship with their father. She moved 800 miles away, yet now he's being portrayed as the one who didn't want to see them. What seems to concern her more is the lifestyle downgrade she's about to face.
About 80% of baby mums are only baby mums because they kept the baby to try to keep the man, when really the man didn't want to be involved in the first place. So then when the man doesn't play an active role in that child's life, the woman then calls him a deadbeat, when really he's not a deadbeat, he just didn't want to be involved in the first place. Who said that?
I don't know who originally said it, but whoever did clearly knew what they were talking about, because it makes a lot of sense. There are situations where a child is brought into the world as a way to secure or hold on to a relationship with the father. In many of these cases, the mother is fully aware that he isn't willing or prepared to be a parent, but goes through with it anyway, hoping the child will change his mind. But it rarely works out that way. Then later they complain about his absence in the child's life, despite the fact that his stance was clear from the beginning.
Misogynists are going to eat me up for saying this, but I feel like one of the most empowering things a woman can do is be a single mother. Aside from being child-free and never marrying,
is my patience getting lower or no? Let's get the full context, y'all.
I know where Anton is coming from, because I also had a similar reaction when I watched it.
and the woman who lives a life of leisure while she's married and still remains child-free, I feel like third place definitely goes to single moms, but society loves to bash women with kids so much that y'all don't want to admit it. There is nothing like a one and done mom or a woman with 2 kids tops who has her own financial income, her own financial freedom, and she's thriving in life still with her autonomy. There's nothing like it. I don't care what y'all say. And don't get me wrong, like I said, I feel like the women who remain child-free and never marry, they are definitely top place. And then second place definitely goes to the women who play the game, still get married, live a life of leisure, and remain child-free.
She called it empowering. Now raising a child alone is being framed as an achievement, something to be proud of. But we need to take a step back and ask, what exactly does she want people to celebrate? You don't start a family with someone, go through a separation, and then treat the aftermath as a victory. Separation is a loss, especially for the child. Turning that into a badge of honor misses the point entirely. Sometimes it's hard to understand how people arrive at these conclusions. When you try to make sense of the logic, there's often nothing solid to hold on to. Somehow she believes single motherhood is a positive outcome, but most of us know that's not entirely true. The reality is that children generally do better when raised by both parents. There's overwhelming research to support that.
He said, look what he said. He said, I hope everything okay with you. I'm here if you need anything. Hit me up, Queen, anytime. I said, can you send me $300 or can I come pick it up from you? You know, look what he said. Yeah, I got you, babe, but I paid her some stuff this week. You asked me a little too late. I can send you half of it next week, like maybe half of or 200 or 250. I said, you full of shit. I was supposed to go out with you Sunday. And now you talking about you bought tickets for a concert. I said, I'm a grown-ass woman. I don't play games. I asked for it now, not next week.
So she's no longer going out with him on Sunday just because he didn't send the money she asked for. I thought she was interested in the relationship side of things, not what he had in his pocket. But she actually did him a favor because it's hard to imagine anything good coming from it. When someone tries to make a relationship about money, it's already on shaky ground, and the moment financial issues show up, the whole thing falls apart, so that's not the kind of foundation any real relationship should be built on. Honestly, it's refreshing to see more guys wising up about how they spend their money. The simping era is slowly coming to an end, and that's a good thing. Besides those points, why was she even asking for money when she's walking around with a designer bag? It looks like she's trying to live above her means at someone else's expense. Now that he refused to give her what she asked for, he'll probably be labeled as broke. But she was the one who needed the money in the first place.